Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the National Park Service, particularly in New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park and the New Orleans Jazz Museum, I bid you welcome. The National Park Service's mission is to protect, preserve, promote further appreciation, as well as education in our nation's natural, cultural, and historical resources. On behalf of the New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park, we are promoting our culturally historical or historically cultural resource, our New Orleans jazz music. And to help us do that today, I bring to the stage a well-known educator, prolific, both recording and live performer, which you will witness here very shortly, Mr. Jesse McBride.
All right, Gary. Well, can y'all hear me on this thing? Y'all hear me on this thing? Oh, well, little ghost in here too, which is great. Carrie says some things. I hope I can live up to that. I won't tell y'all about Carrie, except that he's one of New Orleans' great bassists, and you can hear him with a number of amazing aggregations here in our fair city. I'm gonna play a few things, and we'll talk about it, because that's kind of how I do my thing. So, hope you enjoy. Thank you. There's a bunch of tunes. I'll try to go in reverse order and hope I don't forget something. That was Nevermore, written by the great Harold Baptiste. Anybody ever hear of Harold Baptiste? Raise your hand in the audience. Okay, some of the folk in the back, but guess they should know. Harold Baptiste was a great New Orleans composer. You might have heard of a few tunes that he was responsible for. You ever hear of a group called Sonny and Cher? Oh, okay, cool. They have a tune called I Got You, Babe. Well, he wrote that. Well, thing about in that time was he was trying to be what is known or what was known. I'll go in the was category because I can go into that thing later in the show. Jazz music. He really wanted to be respected. That popular music wasn't really what he was going for, but he met a cat that was driving a meat truck. His name was Sonny. And Sonny was infatuated with a young woman named Cher. And he wanted to be the Caesar and make her his Cleo. And that's Sonny and Cher, and Harold helped him make that, dream come true. So he helped him write a lot of tunes. And there's a lot of other information in that, but I'll leave that to the history books. Before that, we played, me in my brain, a few James Black compositions. Anybody hip to James Black? Besides all those folks back there? Okay, cool. Cats. Okay, James Black, New Orleans composer, drummer. He played piano. He's also a trumpeter. He went to Clark High School, which is still in existence. And at the time, his teacher was Miss Yvonne Bush, and she was one of the great educators in New Orleans history. Also taught Herlin Riley, another great New Orleans drummer, and people don't know this about Herlin. He's also a trumpet player. And I'll tell you a story. No, I won't tell that story. Never mind. I've seen him put a trumpet player to shame once. Anyway, that's another story for another day. Because this person's still playing out in the world. So we won't talk about it. I played a little Dee-wee. Dee-wee, according to the stories, means to be a little drunk. That's this tough one that's in like a bunch of different meters. It starts off the head starts in 3. The intro starts in 3 and then it goes to 5. But then it also has like a little bar 6 in there anyway. It would take a little second to explain that too. Then Little Boy Man. Oh, that's James Black. And then this is Jasmine. So, yeah, he was a very introspective composer and definitely probably the greatest drummer in his generation here in New Orleans. But New Orleans has a very deep history of amazing drummers. You know, James Black, of course, but Edward Blackwell, Earl Palmer, who is the greatest rock and roll drummer in the history of the music. Also, Vernell Fournier. So many cats I could just keep going through. The Shannon Powells and Herlin Rileys and Adonis Rose, Gerald French, Bob French. A lot of Frenches. Anyway. Yeah. Before I continue playing, are there any thoughts, questions? Did I see a hand raised? Okay, you just stretching. Okay, cool. All right. So I'll play a few more. See how it goes. I'll play a few standards. That was part of what I had to learn in my young days here, over 20-something years ago. There are standards, and you have to know some of them. No one can know them all, but you got to know some. few standards. Anybody know those? Besides the people in the back. You guys are so amazing. My people in the back. Okay, anybody in the audience? Familiar, you say? All right, close your eyes. No, close your eyes. Trust me on this. Close your eyes. Tell me the Mardi Gras colors.
Purple, green, and yellow.
You don't say. Stand up, though. Everybody needs to see you. I Thought About You is the name of that song. The first standard. You don't know what love is until you know the meaning of the blues. Anybody know the meaning of the blues? Raise your hand if you know the meaning of the blues. Oh, y'all ain't never been in love. That's the opening line to that tune. You don't know. Carrie, come sing. What love is until you know the meaning of the blues. You can tell I don't sing and play piano at the same time. My heart is sad and lonely. For you I cry. For you, dear only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I told you to come get me, Carrie. My days, they're longing and wondering why it's me you're wronging. I tell you, I mean it. I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it. It's so hard to conceive it that you turn away my romance. Is it the ending? Could be. It looks like the ending, unless I could have one more chance to prove, dear, my life's a wreck you're making. You know I'm yours, just for the taking. Oh, why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. just a wreck you're making. You know I'm yours, just for the taking. Oh, why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I only played that because Carrie didn't rescue me. But that's fine, bruh. Just leave me out there. It's not even the right key for me, but anyway. That was a standard. Keeping the standards vibration for half a millisecond before I go another direction. Body and Soul. Johnny Green, bunch of other cats. All right. Questions? You know, y'all are a very boring audience. All right, where are you from? Mardi Gras.
Here right now. We're here for 3 months.
You-
But Arizona.
You're like my students. They don't like my questions.
We're from Arizona.
What part of Arizona?
Tucson.
Tucson. Yeah, I got family in Yuma. Believe that. Is it hot? They have an international airport. United States and Mexico. Anyway, don't worry about that. Great, man. Glad you're here. 3 months, eh? What you got happening in the city for 3 months? Mardi Gras is not 3 months. Holy shit. Okay. They don't have to edit what I just said, but that's fine. 3 months. Blessings to you. Somebody's got to do it. Excellent. You have 3 months worth of beads on. So where are you from? No, with 3 months worth of beads. Oh, Diego, for sure. I love Southern California. Okay, we got a lot of, y'all not too far from each other. Okay. Any Louisiana folk in here? Okay, we got a few in the back. Where y'all from? BR, all right. Gotta love the red stick. Killing. Baton Rouge. It's actually that. It's okay. I don't know, people just, I'm just making stuff up here. Even this, what I'm doing on the piano is not, I don't know, made up so much as conceptualized and, good Lord, trying to execute. So what do y'all think the music that I'm playing is? Ooh, shit. Done with my questions. Ego stroked. Thank you. But I mean, like, we live in a society that labels and categorizes things. What would y'all label or categorize after listening to a little bit of this? What would you, the Grammys were a few days ago. What Grammy didn't I win? Album of the year. All right. She won more than them than anybody else. More than the Beatles. More than Whitney Houston. More than Janis Joplin. More than Beyonce. Okay, y'all put that in y'all's perspective. I just wanted to give you a little history. I learned that word from my mentor, Harold Baptiste, as I played his music earlier. His story and her story. But that's the way, he kind of viewed it. we have to write our own. And the most important part about that is what you're doing in your journey. And then recognize at some point it's time for you to document that in the best way that you can. If it's writing, cool. If it's playing the piano, cool. If it's, you know, cooking an amazing dish to where someone is satisfied in your house and got some leftovers and telling all their family and friends about it. I mean, whatever it is, you know, everybody's good at something. And spread that, grow that. So, no one? No, go ahead. Go ahead. Surely. The story that I know is Louis Armstrong. Now, I'm sure Louis Armstrong heard someone around here say that, because we're all influenced by someone or somebody. Nothing kind of comes out of nothing. But he was the first person, I almost said first cat. Because that's how I talk. You know, with my young cats, that's how I talk with everybody. You know, when I see folk that are of what I have, you know, grown into and been a part of for the last, you know, 25 years here in New Orleans, is cats. And those are musicians, those are the people that you consider in your sphere. You know, all of them is my cats. And that's Louis Armstrong. That's an amazing question. I'm glad you asked that. See, I want everybody to know, and this is what I have to do. I've been teaching, good Lord, almost 20 years now, but on the university level, like 17, 18. And I try to help them understand that there aren't any bad questions, except the ones you don't ask me. Because then you got something running around in your brain, as opposed to getting a perspective. Not that mine is the only, not that mine is right. It's just like, you know, my mentor Harold Baptiste used to say, 2 heads are better than one. He was an advocate of community. Okay, more silence. Guess that means I have to play more music. I can also feel questions while playing tunes. See, the thing about doing gigs here in New Orleans for 25 years is that you can multitask. And that's not easy for men all the time. But I was raised by 3 women. So they taught me how to multitask. Vernon Duke. Okay. I can't get started by the great Vernon Duke. Anybody heard of Vernon Duke? One of the great American song writers, like Oscar Hammerstein or Jerome Kern or any of those other folks. I played in, I had to do this. I got a text from one of his sons in the middle of this set, Branford. I played an Ellis Marcellus composition entitled Swingin' at the Haven. Now that was named after a club that he opened in the late 50s in his father's hotel, the Marcellus Mansion. That was one of the places that the black artists that would come through New Orleans, because you know during that time everything was racist and segregated in this country. And that was one of the few hotels that black artists on what was known as the Chitlin Circuit could have refuge at night after playing at, the Dewdrop Inn or somewhere in Gert Town or, some hole-in-the-wall joint in the swamps in the east before that was developed. And the Haven was the name of the club that Ellis put together inside of the Marcellus Mansion. Yeah, okay. Oh, luckily a hand raised. Save me. I got 5 minutes, and unfortunately I got to call a lift to get to the airport. Okay, I'm going to leave now. I'm joking. I'm joking. What is jazz? What is jazz? Jazz is notes. Tell me about the word jazz. What do you know about that word? Okay, finish your question and I'll give you a thought. New Orleans. So Chicago is a part of New Orleans because the Great Migration happened from the South. So all of the black people that moved out of the South after Civil War, after Reconstruction, after Plessy versus Ferguson, that's the turn of the century. After World War II, which is what I'm specifically talking about, the Great Migration, they went to all, up the Mississippi River, up to all of those towns. There's still a train line that runs from here to Chicago. So that's how Louis Armstrong got to Chicago to play with, who was here, his mentor, who went up there first. Basically Joe Oliver went up there first because he was like the trumpet king at the time. And then he called for his mentee, Louis Armstrong, and this is 1920. So I think Joe Oliver went up there maybe 1917, around when they started recording the original Dixieland, quote-unquote, jazz band, J-A-S-S, that was all white and did not improvise at all. Let's just put that out there. I didn't answer your question. Ask me again. Well, it all comes out of the black church. So you have to understand how black people came to Christ in this country, through the whip. So whatever religion we came here with, we were stripped of that through the seasoning farms, and that's the Caribbean. That's why Haiti is the way it is. That's why what's used to be Hispaniola, what is the Dominican and Cuba and Puerto Rico. I'm not, whoever I miss, I'm gonna give you the mic. Everybody in that Caribbean, which we came from West Africa and end up being broken, our humanity being broken, and the little bit that was kept, brought to places like New Orleans, which is one of the few, kind of like the Geechee Gullah culture of the South Carolina, the Carolinas, that were able to be, whatever, put on an island, say, if you survive, you survive. Whatever come out of that, come out of that. So they have some African culture, just like New Orleans has some African culture, because another aspect of that was what was happening in what was then Beauregard Square, before it was Congo Square, to where slaves could, on a Sunday, make a good or have a service or provide some type of entertainment in which people would, you know, compensate them in a coin or two, and over many, many, many years could buy yourself and maybe your family out of slavery. I encourage everybody to just do some history of their own family, and everybody in here that's lighter than me, and everybody in here that's darker than me, got somebody from Europe and got somebody from Africa in their blood. Any more questions? I'm open. Please. Mm-hmm. No. I don't. There's no really rivalry amongst poor people. So them Cajuns and all of those displaced natives and the escaped slaves that joined those natives and the freed slaves, no. I find a lot of synergy between Cajuns, blacks, and natives. It's the European, the Spanish, and the English, and the French that seem to really have a problem with all of those other folk. So there's a discussion that can be had about class. And I think classism and racism are unfortunately connected. So there's that as far as history as well. I could just do a history lesson, but I'm not. I was asked to play piano, and I'm glad y'all didn't allow me to go into my history lesson, because you wouldn't have heard no piano. But now I got a jet, unless there's another question.
Where you headed?
Excuse me?
Where are you headed?
Houston. I'm from Houston. I'm going to see my mama. I have the privilege to have a mama on this planet. And at 44 years old, that's amazing to me. I had a grandmother until I was 40. So anybody that's 40 years old and has a grandparent on the planet, that's something special. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's ever experienced that, however long you had your grandparents, if they were good, you know. I miss my grandmother. So, gotta go see mama. I'm trying to buy my grandmother's house, actually. So, that's the main reason I'm going there, to check on that. But I have a lot here, and I've been here 25 years. Blessed to teach at Tulane University and the University of New Orleans. I have degrees from both of them. My undergraduate from UNO and my graduate degree from Tulane University. And that's why I played the music of my teachers, Ellis Marcellus and Harold Baptiste. I didn't get a chance to play any Alvin Baptiste or Kid Jordan, or blessed to still have on this planet Miss Jermaine Basil, who we call New Orleans' greatest woman of song. And she's 91. So we got a lot here, and I want to encourage y'all, whenever y'all come back, to check out as much as you can, and I say find the oldest people you can, because that's where all the knowledge and wisdom lays. That's what I've discovered here. So, thank you. See y'all later.
Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming out and sharing with us. We host our programming here just like this, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock.